Oh. And that'll do it. Bro, what was that? What?
And I just really feel like I deserve this job. And if there's one thing about me, if there's something that needs to be fixed, I will fix it. And God, please, if there's anything you want me to change in my life, please let me know what it is. God, anything but that, God, please let me know.
God created you and me, every rock and every tree, all the beauty that we see. And then there's you, scrolling on your phone, looking for some porn, while God is watching you. And God jerks off to you watching porn, and that's why you were born, so God could get it on.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
Available.
the homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret zone at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Oh, okay, is that good? Am I retarded now? Am I retarded?
Yes. You're very retarded.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for the AI movie suggestions. A lot of the suggestions for post-apocalyptic movies I was able to find for free on YouTube, and not so much with the AI ones. But I'm working on it, especially that Colossus one. I found a lot of clips and videos of people talking about that one, and a whole bunch pretending to be the full movie. And now I am determined to see it. And about Forbidden Planet, I gotta say, that was actually not the first time I've seen Leslie Nielsen in a serious role, although I can't for the life of me remember what it was.
Wasn't it on Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Oh shit, it was. Well, I guess that means I'm using the term serious role loosely, I should say non-comedic. But the scene where Robbie the Robot comes out, I'm watching this thinking there is something very familiar about this. I figured it was just the overall Lost in Space kind of aesthetic of it. But then when Leslie Nielsen says something about, oh, it's a nice atmosphere you got here, a lot of oxygen, when the robot replied, it hit me where I knew it from. My favorite Christmas movie, Gremlins.
I rarely use it myself, sir. It promotes rust.
And there's not really any point to me mentioning this, I just really got a kick out of it. So anyway, the two big stories of the week were this federal takeover of the DC police and the anticipation of the Trump-Putin meeting. And I'll get to the latter later, but as far as what's going on in DC, I find myself a little conflicted over this. Because on one hand, I'm very much against living in a police state, and DC being a not-so-safe place isn't exactly new. I can remember 20 years ago just going through DC on a Greyhound and having a layover in the DC station where I had an hour to kill. And in these situations, I would have something rolled up and I'd take a little walk and I'd smoke. But in this case, I made it about a half a block away from the bus station and saw what was coming up down the block and said, nope, I'm good, and I posted up right there. So yeah, this whole crime problem isn't exactly a new thing, and I know I sure as hell wouldn't want to have to deal with that kind of shit down here where I live. And don't get me wrong, South Florida has plenty of crime. People get beaten up, robbed, shot, but I don't feel as unsafe here as I would someplace like DC or Philly or Chicago. Not by a fucking long shot. But then again, the police department here isn't run by somebody who doesn't even know what a chain of command is. So there's that. That had to have been the most hilarious thing about this. I mean, you've got the fucking chief of police getting asked about what the chain of command's gonna be, and gives an answer reminiscent of Gary Johnson's "What is Aleppo" moment.
That's what the chain of command is now? What does that mean?
She's retarded.
Don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that?
Oh, that's just beautiful. And I really have enjoyed seeing the way that the politicians and elites on the left have reacted to this. Because from everything that I'm seeing, the regular people in DC are actually happy with the way this is going so far. So while the people at the top are busy throwing temper tantrums, this appears to be increasing support for Trump in a place where he basically had none. You know, I had the thought pop into my head that if you were about to make some kind of move, like actually indicting some of the higher level people that, while in the grand scheme of things they're only middle management, it's still a far cry from the usual minions that take the fall. But if all of a sudden they actually went around and arrested Comey and Clapper, people of that level, you have to wonder what the reaction on the left would be like. You think they might send a whole bunch of buses full of protesters and agitators into DC?
Think about it.
So this crime crackdown really could just be a convenient excuse for going ahead and front-loading a bunch of U.S. Marshals and National Guard troops to be ready for something like that. I know this is almost certainly my silly little hopeful daydream, and the chances that that's what's actually going on here are very low, but not zero. And as I said before, I'm conflicted about this because whenever you have social problems, having your go-to answer be, oh, we need more cops doing more on the streets. Once you start going down that path, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from turning into the sad state people in the UK find themselves in, where they'll send people to your house to harass you and even arrest you over a fucking Facebook post, but the grooming gang's going around and trafficking young girls. Can't be bothered with that. And then I saw this the other day.
These women aren't friends out for a run, they're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing female runners.
Oh, fucking hell.
We get honked at, the staring, the hanging out of the window just to look at us, and it's so prevalent.
I took a shot.
Want to do something here?
What am I going to say? Took a shot. Nice try, son.
Thanks, Dad.
And police teams are ready to intervene the moment the officers are beeped at, followed, or shouted at, pulling people over.
Those kind of behaviours may not be criminal offences in themselves, but they still need to be addressed. And of course, the people that are likely to commit those kind of behaviours, you know, they may then go on to commit more serious offences or more serious behaviours.
Are they for fucking real?
I'm really not sure anymore. Anybody from the UK watching this, is this real? Please tell me in the comments. Things have gotten so fucking retarded now that it's often very difficult to identify satire. And this is insanely ridiculous for multiple reasons. I mean, for one thing, I had kind of gotten the impression that the police in the UK were seeming to do everything in their power not to highlight crimes committed by non-whites. And I'm guessing that the statistics on who they end up having a little talking to is going to skew heavily in that direction. It's also the fact that this isn't even a fucking crime. They literally set up a sting operation to catch people doing something that isn't illegal.
This sucks, and it's horseshit, but I'm too polite to say anything, because I'm a class act.
So they're pulling people over that holler out the window, or even just honk at them. And what do they say to them once they pull them over?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
I'd love to hear one of those conversations go down. I mean, all of a sudden, you seemingly get pulled over out of nowhere, the cop comes up and said, "Listen, bud, you just honked at the pretty lady there." Yeah? Well, it's not illegal in and of itself. Well, then why don't you fuck off and go fight actual crime? The UK is becoming a caricature of a country, and I really do sympathize with the good people in the UK that are forced to watch this happen and basically feel helpless to do anything about it at this point. It's definitely a direction we need to avoid. And I gotta say, lately, I've been pretty critical of the Trump administration, and that's not gonna change, but I do still like him. I'm wanting for things to go well, but I'm not gonna sit there and clap like a fucking circus seal when I think a move is being made that's twice as dumb as shit. I'm not a fucking Republican. In some ways, Republicans are worse than Democrats. Republicans actually pretend like your friend. They pretend like they're trying to help you, and then you get it right in the back and they break it off. And the hope was that Trump learned his lesson after the first go-around. But considering the fact that he's all cozied up with people like Lindsey Graham, as well as the fact that Pam Bondi still has a fucking job, well, let's just say I have some serious doubts as to whether or not he actually learned that lesson. This fucking guy still thinks Fox News is his friend. And Sean Hannity, right-wing version of Anderson Cooper, unofficial spokesperson for CIA, Sean Hannity, and Trump thinks he's his fucking buddy. Or how about Thune in the Senate? Instead of putting the Senate into recess when they basically all left for August, he went for this bullshit loophole where every few days they get together and flap their dick suckers for a few minutes, so that the Senate is technically not in recess and Trump doesn't get to have his recess appointments that these assholes have been dragging their feet on confirming. This would make sense if it was the Democrats in control of the Senate, but it's his own party doing this. And now that Trump's been talking about rescheduling cannabis, you've got a bunch of these right-wing people going back to old, failed talking points. After all that rhetoric about individual responsibility and freedom, getting the government out of our lives. Oh, well, not this. In this case, we need the government to protect people from themselves. I present to you Exhibit A.
That the administration is looking at, no decisions have been made, so it's a perfect time for us to submit our argument for consideration. Looking at reclassifying marijuana. The reclassification would move marijuana out of a Schedule I drug. It would then get moved down to Schedule III, which is for drugs with moderate to low potential for physical and psychological dependence, such as anabolic steroids and testosterone. President Trump said he has not made a final decision, and he is still weighing it. So here is the view that we have on this program. The view that I have in particular is that, of course, marijuana is not good for you. You know, a lot of people will say that, well, marijuana has all these wonderful upsides. You can use it to relax and to go to sleep. We have vastly underestimated. This is the first contention. Even if you are in favor of legalization and in favor of reclassification, you have to agree that there has been a downplaying of the negative parts of widespread and casual and recreational marijuana use.
I have to admit there's been a downplay. I'm old enough to remember those bullshit studies that said that marijuana kills brain cells. But when people dug into the research study that suggested that, it turned out that they gave monkeys the equivalent of a joint every 30 seconds for like 5 minutes, which does a magical thing called oxygen deprivation, which leads to brain cell death. And the DEA, the douchebag extraordinaire agency, touted this study for decades until it finally got debunked. Or how about the gateway drug bullshit? That, oh, well, there's people that use cocaine and they started using weed before the cocaine, so it must be the weed that caused them to use the cocaine. Never mind the fact that because the weed was illegal, they had to go to a guy to get weed that just so happened to also sell cocaine. One day you go and he goes, man, listen, I'm all out of weed, but I have this stuff. And had they not had to go to a drug dealer to get their weed, they might very well have never even been exposed to cocaine. Oh, but yeah, there's been a downplaying. What a cunt.
We have abundant parts of we have abundant pieces of data at this point to be able to go piece by piece and ask the question, has this made people healthier? Is it making society healthier? Is it making people sicker?
And that is the wrong question. I shouldn't have to demonstrate or prove that something makes me healthier to be legally allowed to put it into my own body. What happened to the talk about limited government, fuckhead? And by the way, it has been demonstrated for more than just helping people relax, easing the symptoms of glaucoma, rheumatoid arthritis, the loss of appetite caused by chemotherapy. He very carefully avoided mentioning those.
From the data that we have in front of us, numerous longitudinal studies link heavy marijuana use, especially in adolescents, to increase risk of psychosis, schizophrenia, anxiety, and depression. Cognitive impairment, THC affects memory, attention, and learning. Chronic use may lead to persistent cognitive deficits. Also, respiratory harm. Smoking cannabis can cause chronic bronchitis, lung irritation, with unknown long-term cancer risks. We're still learning. And by the way...
Oh, yes, it causes schizophrenia and psychosis.
Bullshit.
I guess the first question I would ask is, those people that use cannabis and develop schizophrenia or psychosis, were they on any other kind of psychiatric meds? Or are we just gonna completely dismiss any other kind of risk factor?
For those of you in the audience that might be over the age of 50, what these kids are smoking and consuming when it comes to marijuana is significantly different than what you smoked at Woodstock or in the 1970s or early 1980s. It is more powerful. It is laced with stuff that you did not have previously. It is a different argument. So dismiss any memory you might have of a generation prior.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, just dismiss your memory. Take it from me, a guy who knows fuck all about weed. You know, the funny thing about being someone who smokes weed is you'll meet lots of other people who do as well. And when you talk to a whole bunch of them that have been smoking it for well over 50 fucking years, and they tell you that this whole thing about how it's all so much stronger today is total bullshit, let's just say their opinion carries a little more weight.
For so many kids I talk to, say, oh, it's no different than just drinking Diet Coke. It's no different than just drinking Gatorade. It's from the earth. It's fine, man.
I have never heard anybody compare it to Diet Coke or Gatorade. First of all, I would actually claim that those two are way more unhealthy. Aspartame and high fructose corn syrup. And second of all, we're talking about whether or not something should be illegal. So let's not do apples and oranges. Let's compare it to, say, alcohol. Is it more of a health and societal problem than alcohol, or less? I mean, I've never heard of anybody going on a weed bender and then going off and committing some horrible, violent act. I think you'd be very hard-pressed to find anybody that would still claim that cannabis is more harmful, more dangerous than alcohol. So maybe at the very least we should just classify it in the same group as alcohol.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, that's right. Alcohol isn't even scheduled.
I guess that means you need to shut the fuck up.
Oh, but he does make one more brilliant point.
Do you think Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, and Denver, Vegas, Los Angeles, and parts of Phoenix even have gotten better, healthier, stronger, more pleasant since the legalization of marijuana? Do you think New York is a better place to walk around? Do you think it invites the right types of people? Do you think it lifts us up higher towards national unity, strength, towards a goal of either defeating the Chinese or being virtuous, going on a journey, triumphing over evil? Do you think marijuana invites that kind of culture?
Again, doing the same thing societally as he did with the health studies, asking, did these cities get better? Because the only thing that could possibly affect that is cannabis legalization. Let's not look at who runs those cities, the way they've been run. No. It's all just because of decriminalization. You fuckheads spend years trying to bring new people into the movement, talking about freedom and limited government overreach, and then you start talking like this. If I didn't know any better, I'd think someone was paying you to fall on a sword, to shoot yourself in the foot. Because between this issue and the whole cheerleading for the tiny hat crew, you are going to completely destroy any kind of ground you've gained. Freedom of speech and the ability to criticize whoever you want? Oh, well, unless it's the tiny hat crew. Not pissing away money to foreign governments? Oh, well, unless it's them. Getting out of foreign entanglements and involvement in conflicts where we have no fucking business? This hypocrisy is not going unnoticed. And it almost seems like they're trying to sabotage the midterms next year. And as for the Trump-Putin meeting on Friday, truth is there's very little to talk about at this point. I guess I jumped the gun last week when I said I was expecting something to sabotage it happening leading up to it. There's still plenty of time for it to be sabotaged even after the deal is actually finalized and signed. But I will say this, I got a real kick out of all the asshats that when they did the B-2 flyover, their take was, oh my god, Trump just threatened Putin. So when they do a B-2 flyover at the Super Bowl, it's basically a threat to kill everyone in that stadium.
You fucking retarded scumbag.
But really, I was waiting to see what would happen with Zelensky today. And apparently the White House told him, listen, motherfucker, you better wear a suit this time, because we know that you own suits. So don't fucking turn up like you're trying to get the lead role in the remake of Falling Down. And I guess you could call this a suit. Pretty fucking weird suit. But whatever, I never really cared about that anyway. I was just hoping that he didn't wear a suit because I knew that would make Trump fucking lose it. And apparently at the last minute he decided he needed to bring an entourage of shit-cunt European heads of state. And Trump was way more cordial with them than I would have been. I know how I would have greeted him.
What do you faggots want?
But I guess that's why I'm not the president. And apparently they did a good job of coaching Zelensky because he sat there like a little whipped puppy and was smart enough to not start flapping his dick sucker. But now I guess we'll just have to wait and see what treachery comes next. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on. Don't fuck with me! You stupid fuck! Look at you now! Look at you now!